Hello, class. It is Tuesday, October 1st, 2013, and I'm speaking to MSFS 5010, Stalwart Section 2, from the deck of my home on this beautiful, about a fourth or fifth day in a row of incredibly gorgeous fall weather. Foliage is actually passing peak. And I'm putting up some photos of my latest harvesting efforts, the pears and the plums. The apples you've seen already, but there's also a picture of some friends who were visiting the other day to pick some apples. So enjoy the pictures, and I'm just going to talk a little bit more about our second week and get you in the mood for diving into production agriculture. There's been a lot of great information coming through my computer today, and I've been trying to pull together some things to post for you, which you will see hopefully shortly, maybe even before you hear this. So the themes of this past week have been really great. You've done a very good job with your discussions. You've improved your citation skills, and I I know that we talked about the first half of the week already, so I'm just going to talk a little bit more about how important it is um, to recognize the food safety issues and the nuances of all of the issues that you've been talking about this week, and you've done a good job of that too. I really think that food safety is one of those bellwether issues that defines uh, the different, it's kind of a nexus of where the issues of the food system come into play. The question of food safety versus food sovereignty or food security, the recognition of the need for some kind of combination of federal and local regulations. These are all important insights. What is the role of regulation in ensuring a safe, healthful food supply? I've dealt with a great deal of ignorance about that question actually in the whole process of the debate about organic standards. You'll hear more about that later for sure. Just a little personal anecdote. I have this great apple orchard that had a huge bumper crop 2 years ago. This year it's almost as much. And you know also that I have cows that graze in this field from time to time. And I actually called my local gleaners uh, uh, 2 years ago when I had this huge abundance of apples and told them to come pick up drops and pick apples for the food shelf, and they said, oh, they couldn't do that. They couldn't pick up drops because of food safety regulations. And this is very apropos to the current Food Safety Modernization Act debate, and I'm going to post an article that I recently wrote for the Organic Standard about that whole controversy, which I think you'll find interesting. The other question has to do with consumer demand versus branding and advertising, and I think this also has been a very good discussion about those nuances and the trade-offs and the on the one hand, on the other hand questions. The one question that I don't think you have really gotten your arms around yet is the whole problem of the fact that our civic life is more and more casting every one of us in the role of a consumer rather than a citizen. That's our big role in our decision making, is what product to buy, um, which is really, really a bad thing. And even farmers are major consumers of farm inputs and food as well, because how few of the farmers of our major agricultural production actually produce food for people. Well, that's another thing to, to think about. Um, and I was really was happy that one of you brought up the example of the natural label, and there will be a great deal more discussion of these various eco labels, some legitimate, some not quite so legitimate, in courses to come. And finally, the contracts versus independence question. Um, some of those good insights were things like middlemen really do perform an essential service for many farmers, and the idea of doing away with the middleman doesn't do away with the need to have somebody whose job it is to get the food from the farms to the people who need to eat it in some form that they want to buy. Uh, the point here is the diversity of markets is another way of looking at the way the financial health, the criteria for the financial health of farm, just as biodiversity is a criterion for the ecological health of a farm. Um, and you guys didn't really get into the question of, or the idea of, producer co-ops as giving the advantage of aggregation that contract farming and uh, so forth give, but allow producers to stay in control to some extent. And there's lots of different scales of producer co-ops, and people who have criticisms of the very big ones, such as Cabot, such as Sunkist, and so on. And in fact, Organic Valley is a cooperative aggregator of organic dairy products and many other kinds of products these days as well, which I would say is more of a horizontally integrated cooperative. So I'm going to leave it at that. I love to talk to you about these things. It's much more fun than writing little essays, and I hope you're enjoying it. And I will look forward to reading your papers, and give those of you who still have an extension some slack because Congress ate your homework. And so enjoy your readings for this week, and I'll look forward to reading what you have to say. Have fun.